Hello and welcome to the STEAM Cafe on CosmoQuest. My name is Jillian Rhodes and I'll be your server today. I'm a dancer and choreographer by profession, but every Monday I'm here to blast you ahead into the week with a nice hot brew of science-infused art. I was not streaming last week because this month has been a mess and it continues to be a mess, but I'm here anyway. I'm not sure if that's good for you or not, but I am here nonetheless. I do not have a guest today, which is a good thing for the guest. Instead, I wanted to spend some time rabbit holing about this thing. So I'm sure this has happened to you before, where you find out about something and then you keep seeing that thing like everywhere. You find out about a person and you keep reading that person's name everywhere. Or, you find out about, you learn a new word in a language and then all of a sudden you hear it everywhere. So it's like you start to wonder, was this art always there before and I just wasn't, picking up on it? Or is it just that now I know it and so the universe is like, here, have some more information about it? And so that has absolutely been the case with the name of a certain space artist, um, Chesley Bonestell. So the name came up, I think, when I was researching one of my past guests. Might have been Ron Miller. It might have also been what I was researching. So we started a little late today because I was trying to find this article that I had read during one of my research sessions for this show, which was about how different artists' depictions of space art kind of help society, has helped us get used to the idea of space exploration. And it was fascinating article, but I didn't bookmark it. I didn't download it. And this morning I cleared my browser history. So I have no way of getting back to it. And I also don't remember what I was doing it when I found it, which makes it very hard to, retrace in context. But one of the names that came up in that article was Chesley Bonestell. One of the main influences that Ron Miller mentioned last show I had was Chesley Bonestell. It just kind of, his name kept coming up, and I saw it referred to in a few different places as the father of modern space art. And I thought this was interesting because about exactly a year ago, well, not exactly, but almost a year ago today was the first time that I did this show. Which means that this show, Steam Cafe, though it hasn't always been under this name, has been running for a full year, which is just bonkers if you ask me. But anyway, it has. But one of the questions that I asked to myself, but in research, when I was starting this show a year ago, was who was the first space artist? Where did this come from? How did this get started? Obviously, I can say that definitely the first astronomers were the first space artists, but where did this tradition of space illustration come from? Maybe, apparently, it might have been Chesley Bonestell. So I decided that today was going to be a rabbit hole episode, and I was just going to take some time to wander around on the internet, looking for information about this person. He is no longer alive, but I'm just gonna go around and see what I can find. Hello to everybody in the chat, by the way. Astrowise, Keeper, Broken Symmetry, Carolyn, and Adam. Nice to see you guys. Lucky you to join me on this rabbit hole adventure today. So here we go. Down the rabbit hole we go. All right, so Wikipedia is always a nice place to start. I always find that when I first Google things, I like to look at and like what are all of the the results? What are the first results? And so we have a bonestell.org. He's in Britannica. Wow. And there's a ChesleyBonestell.com. So we'll have to use our critical internet research skills to understand which one of those is the one we should pay attention to. I'll open both of them in new tabs, come back to it. Apparently there's a movie apparently called A Brush with the Future. So I'll have to look at that. Imagining the future, that looks interesting. I'll come back to it. All right, let's start with a Wikipedia. Wikipedia has made a very bold claim at the beginning here. It says his paintings inspired the American space program. That's a bold claim. They have been and remain influential in art. A pioneering creator of astronomical art, along with the French astronomer artist Lucien Roudeau. Lucien Roudeau is. Keeper, I don't know if that's the thing, but I just, out of the corner of my eye in this window, I just saw a rocket go across the stream. I don't know if I'm going crazy. Oh, okay. All right. There's this. Oh, okay. All right. So there was a subscription, which is why. Yay! I'll give you a happy dance. A Milky Way. I just thought I was going crazy because I saw a rocket drifting across the stream. Wow. Okay. It's been that kind of day. It's been that kind of month. Keeper is muttering in my ear here. Okay, so let's see. Let's get back to the rabbit hole. I think I'm gonna have to actually read. I'll have to watch this documentary, but basically, it looks like he started his most famous painting. The result was a series of paintings of Saturn as seen from several of its moons that was published in Life in 1944. So nothing like that had been seen before. They looked as though photographers had been sent into space. It says his painting Saturn as seen from Titan is perhaps the most famous astronomical landscape ever and is nicknamed the painting that launched 1,000 careers. Wow. It was constructed with a combination of clay models, photographic tricks, and various painting techniques. Oh. Okay, he has a book, The Conquest of Space, so we're gonna have to open that. So this is interesting that his last work in Hollywood was contributing special effects, art, and technical advice to the science fiction films produced by George Paul, including Destination Moon, When Worlds Collide, The War of the Worlds, Conquest of Space, and as well as Catwoman of the Moon. Interesting. So he painted more than 60 cover illustrations for science fiction magazines. Good heavens. Wow. He died in 1986 with an unfinished painting on his easel. Boy, that shows you the kind of life that he had. That's really amazing. Oh, films with artwork by Bonestell, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. What? Magnificent Humberson. Catwoman of the Moon. Unauthorized use of Bonestell art from the book. Oh, that sounds like a juicy plot. Interesting. All right. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Where do I want to go? What do I have open here? Okay, let's look at his, oh, that's because that's the space art. Saturn is seen from Titan. Okay, okay, okay. I'll come back to that. Okay, here basically, now let's look at his, let's see if we can see if it's an official website. We've got bonestell.org and we've got chesleybonestell.com. So let me see if I can discern. The images are not showing on this. That's interesting. Let's see if I can discern who is, which one is which, one is what. I think, hold on a minute. Let me go to the top here. Rabbit hole is very much this, where we just kind of wander around together. Let's go to the FAQ. I get the feeling that this website is particularly for the film. It's like a fan-made site or something. Whereas this, the bonestell.org, this looks like an actual artist. Yeah, because it has licensing and image requests. So I would guess, if I could put my internet sleuthing to the work, that this ChesleyBonestell.com is probably made by the people who made the film, and this is, you know, the Bonestell estate of some sort. I'm just popping into the chat to see what's going on. Veronica, didn't mean to startle you with my rocket. No worries. That's okay. I was just confused. Die doing what you love, or live doing what you love until you die. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I do. Broken Simmering History. I agree that your version is better. Live doing what you love until you die. But not to go into more detail on that, considering rule number whatever it is. Let's look about Chesley Bonestell, see if it has anything interesting. This just has a little bit more about the awards. So he's gotten tons and tons and tons of awards. Okay, all right. So obviously this person was hugely, hugely, hugely influential. So let's just accept that as a fact and move on with our lives and see if we can find anything else about. I'm cat sitting over Eid, and so she just woke up to say hello, as she does sometimes. I'll try to show her later on the screen. Okay, this is just talking about, these are some of the, I'll look at for images in a second. I want to go back, I want to come back to Lucien Rudeau. But let's, wait, where should we go next? Should we look at images, or should we look at works? Let's look at some images first, and then we'll go looking at the documentary, at the book, and if there's anything else. What was this that I opened? Oh, meet Chesley Bones, the most important space artist you've probably never heard of. Maybe that's why it took me so long to find him. Image gallery, that's a good place to start. Saturn as seen from Mimas. That's not from Titan. This is the one. This is the one. Saturn as seen from Titan. This is apparently, that was the one that kind of changed space art forever, and was made with the clay. I wonder if he made he must have made the cliffs with clay, maybe? Look at how detailed the cliffs are. I should probably look up on maybe how he made these. I'll search for it in a minute. Saturn as seen from, oh, I don't know how to pronounce this. It looks like these people. This is, oh, I need to close my cookie settings here. There's what's into this one is interesting because it has little people down, here. That which was something else that the article was talking about, the article that I can't find and I can't remember, but it was talking about how some artists do basically, oh, if I could remember the name of the artist they were comparing Chesley Bonestell, so I could maybe track it down. But anyway, basically it was it's a technique apparently that he used to use, is like putting these tiny little humans buried in the picture somewhere, to kind of give that sense of scale and grandeur. Uh, Surface of Venus. Oof, that doesn't look like a fun place. Ship ready for return trip. These are super cool. Surface of Mercury. Saturn is seen from Titan. That seems to be kind of the main. There's looks like a couple different versions of it, one with snow and one without snow. Let's find out a little bit more about this and how he made it. Like vintage space art. This wasn't very useful. Let's I was kind of hoping that it would tell me somewhere how he made it. Oh no, I was really hoping this was the article that I was looking. But this is a really, oh wait though. However, it's not the article that I was looking for, but this is interesting. I feel like this is very much, it's very similar to the article that let me just add a bookmark and I'll get back to that. So I don't lose it again. This is definitely not. Often a con. Oh, so keeper saying in my ear that this is an illustration from Off on a Comet, which was one of the stories that Pamela read. Um, these are like early space artists. This is really fascinating. I think I'll have to come back to this and look at it in more detail later. This is unfortunately not the article that I've been looking for. If I ever do find it, I'm just going to be very, very. Oh, interesting. So this is a Ron Miller piece. Ron Miller, I interviewed him not last week, but the week before. And he did his own Saturn as seen from Titan. He did mention in the interview that Chesley Bonestell was a huge influence on him. Let's see if there's any notes in this article. Oh no, I don't want to subscribe. I just want to read the article. Why? So why have Bonestell? Oh, I haven't been saying that right. Bonestell. Oops. Okay. All right. Let's see if it says why we don't know anything about him. This is about the documentary, the A Brush with the Future. So it's I don't know when this documentary came out, but I'll find out in a second. Interesting. Stewart turned up some rare footage of him as well as an interview with Ray Bradbury, in which the acclaimed author of the Martian Chronicles cited Bonestell as the artist whom all other science fiction illustrators have worked to emulate. Wow. In a brief clip from 1969, Bonestell is asked what he thought of the historic Apollo 11 moon landing. He responds with obvious disappointment that the moon turned out not to look as he envisioned it. It's too bad he didn't live to see how closely some of his other paintings, such as those of Jupiter and Saturn, seem to orbit. Oh. Really interesting. I feel like, you know, again, if you've probably, it's one of those people that you probably have seen his work and you just didn't know it. Um, which is really, really interesting. I'm just gonna keep quietly going down the Google hole in that in case I find that article. This is okay. So this is the book that it was mentioning. Conquest of Space is a 1949 speculative science book written by Willy Ley and illustrated by Chesley Bonestell. A portfolio of paintings depicting the possible future exploration of the solar system with explanatory text. Interesting. Um, that's not doesn't have much more to say than that. Looks like it would be an interesting book. I wonder if it's still wonder if it's still let's look. Anyway, I'm gonna have to look more up on Lucien Rudeau. The Rudeau crater. Oh, he has a crater on Mars. Oh, I think I read in Chesley Bonestell's that he has a crater somewhere, maybe on Mars or the Moon. I don't remember. So he was apparently also one of the. He was apparently also one of the big influential characters in early space art. That's interesting. I've also never heard of it. Here we go. Lucien, the other father of astronomical art. Interesting. Okay. Question is this book available? Well, it's on A-Books, which is used books, I think, or rare books usually. Oh, it is available. It's just very expensive. Very expensive. All right. Well, that's not going to happen. Okay, wait. I need to stop on that scene because I'm busy looking for that article. I'm not going to give it up, fortunately. Okay. So here is another, basically, interestingly, Montessol's very famous painting was about Saturn as seen from one of its moons. And this is Jupiter from its satellite. Vision, so he has imagined the vision from the night sky of Mars looking at its two moons. International Association of Astronomical Artists is another one of those things that now that I know about, I'm seeing it all over the place. A couple of the Simon Krieger, I think, who's one of my guests, who is the director of exhibitions. Ron Miller is a part of it. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if, oh no, I didn't mean to get away from this, but wait. I wouldn't be surprised if like all these guys are, founders of it or something. He produced countless books and magazine articles, translated some of his articles bore sensational titles such as When the Moon Breaks Up, with appropriately apocalyptic artwork. Interesting. So he has also a masterwork, which I'm sure is very expensive. Wow, interesting. So it looks like, Ron Miller, who again, I interviewed, has been, because Ron Miller is also so well respected, um, so incredibly well respected in the space art community, that he's done a lot of work to bring these guys back into the conversation, really. I'm just quickly looking to see on this website. Oh, it doesn't really say who founded it. That's very diplomatic. It just says a small group of artists. I bet you anything, though. I'm sure Ron Miller said it in the interview sometime. I've just forgotten. But I bet you anything it was these guys. All right, let's look at just a few more images, because I'm sure we can find some pretty images. Space art. I'm sure we can find some pretty images. We'll look at some pretty images and then wrap it up for today. Yes, pretty images. Like this. It's interesting in style, Ron Miller was talking about how he, definitely was inspired. And you can see, the style is very similar. Well, not very similar, but it is similar, maybe a little bit more vintage for sure, but there is a certain style, and the way that they're using landscapes, I think, is quite clear as well. Well, cool. So apparently, this person that I just really found out about in the last couple weeks is super, just basically, one of the most influential people in space art and modern space illustration. It's pretty amazing. Let me go and see what I've missed in the chat. Mohammed was saying that moon looks like the illustrations from the Little Prince. I'm not sure it was, but it's very, yes, definitely aesthetic. Yes. Yeah, it was yeah, very pretty things, very, very aesthetic, very imaginative. and especially considering when they were made. And I don't. Again, I just think back to that, the claim that Wikipedia made that he inspired the American space program. You know, I'd like to see the source for that. I think that'd be very interesting. That would be a very interesting story, if it's true. But in the meantime, I am going to wrap up this episode. As far as I know, I have a guest for next week, but I will have to. I will have to confirm that. I was just Broken Symmetry was saying, oh, I was saying something and then I clicked away from it. It is telling that so many of his painting views are as if someone was standing there. Yes, definitely. And I think that was kind of the point of this article that I keep coming back to because it's bothering me. I can't find it. But it was basically the whole point of it was, yes, that the way that these paintings were designed was very much to bring these exotic places and make them feel like they were closer and more accessible. And part of that was definitely imagining it as though a person was standing on the surface and looking at it. And a lot of the illustrations that we've looked at in the last couple of weeks are very much about that, where they have that perspective of somebody, or how it would be to be standing on these landscapes, which is just quite interesting. I think if my guest next week is the person I think it is, that's definitely also, part of the work, though that's in animation, and not just still images. Before I go, I do want to tell you that if you're interested in what I do when I'm not here in the STEAM Cafe, serving up science-infused art, I am a professional dancer and choreographer. And this Saturday, I am doing a live stream performance on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the bio, which is linked in the bio and with all the links that come up. It's going to be evening my time because I live on the other side of the planet, so it's going to be in the morning in America. It's 11:30 Eastern. Central European time is 5:30 p.m. and it's 8:30 p.m. here. So if you're interested, it'll be about 15 minutes and I will be doing a few new pieces. Drop by if you're interested. And otherwise, definitely come back tomorrow for Daily Space, all your science news. And next week, I will be here in the STEAM Cafe, as always, bringing you science-infused art. And that is all for today. Have a safe and moderately not annoying Monday. All the best to you. Bye-bye.